We can make some room on the phones. We are flooded with response on the texts. Would you boo Dylan Larkin if he's really here to start the season? First response, I don't want Larkin here, but I wouldn't boo him. Another says, I wouldn't be booing Larkin. It would be booing Stevie Y.
So let me give you another scenario.
Okay.
And, they can spin it however they want. And Yzerman might say, hey, well, this was the plan all along. We were going to add in a trade or we're going to add in free agency. But if they do add somebody of significance and Larkin is back, is there a chance he gets a standing ovation because he stood up to Steve Yzerman and forced his hand? Like, that's the way it's going to play from the Larkin camp, is that he forced Steve Yzerman's hand. He forced him to actually do something. So we just want this team to win. If they're better going into the season, now, by the end of the year, when they get to March,
oh boy,
just like it was last year when they had a Justin Falk at the deadline, it's going to be about what the players do on the ice. But to start the season, hey, Dylan Larkin stood up to the captain. Look at the cojones on that guy.
Well, Bob in Rochester says something similar. He says, I would not boo Larkin. For all that's happened, at least he lit a spark in the organization. Maybe it wakes somebody up. The way things were going, they were spinning their wheels and not accomplishing anything. Maybe this will wake someone up to actually do something.
Well, if it lights a spark. We haven't seen the spark yet.
I'm not a part of the Yzer bots. Dylan's in the right. If he's back, I'll be happy, from an unnamed texter. Absolutely will be booing Larkin, whether he's wearing the winged wheel or not. A captain without any leadership qualities. Great player, will thrive on a team where he isn't the leader. Giving up on your 8-year contract with 5 years left after laying an egg since the return of the Olympic break makes you look like a sackless chump. Chris in Royal Oak. If I'm Yzerman, I tell Larkin, if I land Rowinski or Robertson, will you change your mind? And I need you to talk to those guys and explain the situation. Basically, go recruit these guys here.
Right.
It's Yzerman's fault. Larkin's playing him like a fiddle. He's calling Yzerman's bluff, putting the spotlight at him to make a move that truly helps the team. Bryce in a car. You can't really boo Yzerman, though. I mean, you can do chants, but there's not like a moment that's conducive to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, when Jemai goes in, are you booing Jemai or are you booing AJ for putting him in? Like that, we talked about it at that time. Like, why? Jemai Jones addressed it after the game. It's the first time he's ever been booed like that by home fans. But was that the opportunity to boo AJ and Scott Harris for him even being there, and AJ for putting him in that position again? This would be the same thing. Like, when's that opportunity going to come up for you to be able to actually express to Steve Yzerman or express to, Chris Ilitch that, like, what are we doing?
Right. I absolutely would boo Larkin. He was never the leader or the captain. He was just given the seat because the team was bad and he was their youngest player. Another says, yes, I'd boo him. He better not even think about skating out there with the C on his chest. You publicly gave up on the franchise that gave you an 8-year contract. You are the problem now.
Well, again, who gave up on who? And I'm not going to sit there and say Yzerman gave up on him. He just didn't do enough to support him or to support this roster or to support this team.
I absolutely would boo Larkin. Another says, if he goes out there and plays his guts out, I would cheer for him. Otherwise, I'd be tempted to boo him. It'll all be dependent on his effort.
I have no question, no doubt, that if he is wearing the winged wheel, he's going to go out there and give the same effort he did in the first 11 years of his career.
I won't boo him. If after all the drama, he still suits up, puts in the effort, that to me is a sign of maturity. Wanting to be out and still putting in the reps, that isn't worthy of boos, in my opinion, Ryan, at work.
Again, I think if something is done this offseason to where he's back and the team is better than they were last year going into the season, I think there's sure, you're always going to have old curmudgeons that are looking at it going, you know, all the things that we've talked about, the text messages. You signed a contract. Stand, like honor that contract. What does your signature mean? What does your handshake mean? Well, that handshake goes both ways.
This guy says he wants to start an F.U. Larkin chant at the games. And another says, boo him and his children. Never boo Larkin. He's putting out this dumpster fire for good. He's like a champion in some people's eyes, and he's persona non grata and public enemy number one to others. Like, this is exactly what this divide is designed to do.
Well, you got the boo kids chant. Well, that was obviously directed at the Staffords. This is getting very Staffordish in this situation, although it didn't play out publicly ugly in terms of the separation, but in terms of being a divisive athlete, this is a split ticket right now. It is. There are people in his camp, and I think most people would have been in Larkin's camp if he didn't publicly demand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of put it on him a little bit, and the whole, we just made an 8-year commitment, and you're bailing after 3 years. Detroiters have a problem with that. I know this city. I've lived here my whole life.
Sure.
Well, Detroiters are sensitive to loyalty more than other markets. You're turning your back on us.
We'll turn our back on you.
The difference is Stafford never had to play a game here after that got out, because it was all behind the scenes that he wanted out of Detroit.
Well, it was publicly known that they were going to trade him. Like, he had asked for the trade.
I think there was a brief window there where that was the case.
Yes, you're right. It was brief, and he never had to play, was my point. He never had to play.
Right, yes. But
he
then,
had to come back
the
wearing
trip to
Honolulu
Cabo.
blue. Yeah,
I mean, that.
So we need to get Dylan to Cabo, is what you're saying.
This was the argument, though, that it would have done Yzerman justice if he had moved from Larkin a couple years ago before he had to extend him. You know, I felt that way.
Well, that's why all roads lead back to Steve. Like, if you think Larkin's some chump loser, then don't pay him and trade him and submerge yourself deeper into the proper rebuild that always needed to happen. Like, or you paid him because he's the number one center on this team and would be a number one center on certain playoff teams, and you think he's a good hockey player and you need more of them. You just haven't done a good enough job collecting those kind of players to make real meaningful progress now going into your 8th offseason. Like,
see, I think part of the thing with the Stafford trade, the Lions knew they needed to move on too. Mm-hmm. And that's what Yzerman didn't learn here. It was like, okay, there was hesitancy to give him the captaincy. It was a natural handoff for him to get it, and yet they didn't give it to him right away. Why?
We got to earn it.
Got to earn that leadership. Mike, you got a throwback. You're on 97.1.
Hey, guys, good morning. A lot of people don't remember this or they don't know this, but before the 95 season, Steve Yzerman was being shipped to the Ottawa Senators. It was basically a done deal. Him and Scotty could not coexist together. And that's when, after that, Stevie started playing, the quote-unquote two-way hockey, right? Mm-hmm. So they worked it out. They hashed it out. Obviously, the landscape is a lot different nowadays. And maybe John can talk about coaching, being coached by Scotty, a hard-nosed coach. But he needs some tough love right now. And the next year they go win the President's Trophy. We know how that finished. But maybe he comes back, and this is that learning experience that's going to jump into the next level.
Yeah, the Alexei Yashin trade. That's who he would have been dealt for.
Yes.
Yeah. So 95, I was pretty young, but as someone who did a book report on Steve Yzerman in school, I'm well aware of the story.
The book report.
No. I said that's easy to take a shot at you for, but I did the same things when I was in middle school and high school.
I loved hockey growing up.
I did a huge thing on steroids because it was so.
Oh, sure.
When the whole Ben Jansen thing happened, and
Bandrich.
Yeah.
And that's why Tom's so jacked.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he doesn't have any hair.
Exactly.
Did you ever do like a book report on like a pro athlete or anything?
That is so long ago.
Oh, okay.
I have no recollection.
You did one on Harbs, didn't you?
On Harbaugh?
No.
Who
would
you
be
have
right
done?
in your wheelhouse.
Who were the athletes that you admired?
For a quarterback? Have you met me?
Your book report would have been The Guarantee down in Columbus.
No.
Who are some of the athletes that you looked up to? Doesn't have to be football players. You love baseball.
Sure. Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, you could have done one on Gibby.
Yeah, I may have. Yeah. And it might have been Tony Mandrich at the time. Like when that whole expose on him, when he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, I cut that out and that was in my locker.
I want to be that.
Yeah.
And then you
Who didn't at that time? Like if you were an aspiring offensive lineman, now all of a sudden we're like, hey, we're on the cover of Sports Illustrated. You could be the number one pick overall.
Do you remember the headline on the cover?
The incredible bulk.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. I could see him. There was a picture in there of him pushing a grocery cart. Like, I could see the article in my mind's eye right now. And so the other guy would have had, that I looked up to at that time was Reggie White, Minister of Defense. Had his poster in my room, too.
So the whole eating with Mandrich and all that, it's like the modern day comp to that would have been Michael Phelps. Remember when he was dominating and he was eating 10,000 calories a day? The thing is, he wasn't doing steroids.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole Mandarich fallout, is that why you didn't end up going to Michigan State? You just couldn't?
No, I just wanted to go where I could win.
2-4-8.
Funny thing is, that was
4-1
when the Spartans won the Rose Bowl with Perlis and Lorenzo White.
Yeah. Lorenzo's a great guy, by the way.
Did you ever consider MSU?
Sure. They were my first offer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. There was a time.
What could have been?
Oh, yeah. Well, could have won a national championship there.
Right. You would have been the linchpin. You would have brought them to glory.
There's that possibility,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, there's no facetious laughter under my breath or anything. You definitely would have done it.
Hey, great leadership.
They could have used him.
Oh, they absolutely could have used him. And
Yeah.
Charles Woodson. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a total team effort. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying, John.
I know. Yeah. No,
I feel like
I know you're
offended
trying
right
to,
now.
laughing at me, trying to put down, any contributions I would have made to that national
I don't
championship
dispute
team.
that you were a contributor. I don't think you were plug and play national title on anybody you played for.
I'm not saying that. I'm just
Okay.
saying the possibility could have been there.
Could have been. We get the 2 Grand Slam, Heather's news, and we'll dive deeper into this Duren conversation because for the first time ever, someone uttered, "I want to play for the Sacramento Kings." Stunning. 97-1.